do today?
He bought a Bronco.
Is it a new Bronco or an old Bronco?
Old.
Is it ready to go or does it need some work?
It needs a lot of work.
All right, here she comes. Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. I'm Matt Kalanians and these are my two little monkeys. You want to introduce yourselves?
My name's Niobe.
My name's Gavin. I have dirt on my hands. We were just playing with some rocks.
Okay, great. And I've created the show to document a restoration project that I've decided to start. And today is the first day. Not 5 hours ago, Gavin and I went and we purchased this 1973 Ford Bronco, and we're going to restore it on this show. Yeah, wow, you know, nothing like sitting in an old car. Everything's metal, very limited use of plastic. The acoustics are awful, like farting in a metal trash can, but there's just nothing like that nostalgic feeling. I mean, this car's older than I am, but I think it's going to become a part of my life and a part of our family. So I'm going to do a walk around here. We're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly and decide what the build plan is for this thing.
Hi, I'm Gavin. I don't like the bumper here. It's crusted right above here.
Wait, show the camera the crust, okay?
I don't like really like
What?
crust right here.
Can you see that or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's a little bit of rust. It's pretty typical for a
And
Bronco.
I also like how there are two whatever there are,
Gas tanks.
two gas tanks.
All right, here we are at the business end of the Bronco. Hood had popped open. It's not too bad under here in terms of rust and all that, and that's part of the reason I bought this truck. It didn't have too much rust on the body. Now, I did buy this from a coworker, which is always preferable, obviously, because he's not going to lie to you and rip you off because he's going to have to see you on Monday. And what he told me was this thing hasn't run since 2004. So it's been 12 years since this motor turned over. Now, in 12 years, a lot of things can happen. So I'm going to obviously replace the battery. That's no good. Distributor, points, ignition coil, all the spark plugs. I'm going to have to change all the fluids, including the motor oil and the transmission fluid and the radiator fluid, if it had any in there at all. At that point, that's when you really start discovering the leaks. I'm probably going to leave the transfer case gear oil in just because it's a heavier oil. I'm not going to do a lot of driving, and I'm likely not going to ruin the transfer case after just putting around and testing things out. Whereas with the transmission, it's an automatic, C6 automatic. If you run it with bad fluid, you can really do damage to the transmission, so that does need to be changed. Now, one of the things that really does worry me about this truck is the electrical system. The wiring is just, there's open ends hanging everywhere. There's connections that are twisted together with no electrical tape covering them. The ignition wires are just sort of hanging around, so the spark plugs are all rusted out. And when you look at each single electrical connection, it just doesn't look like it was a professional job. Now, it may be okay, and like I said, he said it was running when he parked it, but nothing will start a fire faster than a bad electrical connection. So I'm going to take my time, get the Ford schematics, try to understand what the important wires are, what the not important wires are, and I'm going to isolate the ones that I need to start this motor so that nothing else is powered up. Now, one thing I absolutely hated about this Bronco is this awful bumper. Now, I guess if you're into farm work, this 3/8 inch thick steel bumper would be right up your alley, but I absolutely despise it. I'm going to replace it with a stock chrome bumper. I wanted to leave it with the seller, but unfortunately it's welded onto the frame, so that's one of those things I'm going to have to spend a lot of time grinding off and chopping up and recycling. I might post it on Craigslist, but I have a feeling nobody's going to want this hunk of junk. Something you have to consider when you buy a car. You know, what are you able to do? What do you have the willpower to do? This isn't a big deal, but it's another step, and you add up all the little steps and all the little costs, a couple bucks of grinding discs, cleaning up all the metal shavings. It really is a lot of work, and if you don't have the passion for it, the time, if it's not the right time in your life, it can be a real burden on you and your family. So it's something to consider when you take on a project like this. When you get your project vehicle home and it's not running, one thing to consider is where to put it. Now, I've already made a mistake. I was hoping to shoot a shot out the back of the truck, but parked it too close to the bushes, and it's a little too far over this way, which is where the tow truck dumped it when he brought it over. It's an automatic door. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and push this thing into place, and which is fine because this driveway is relatively flat, but if it had any bit of an angle, this would be a massive pain. Yeah, so end of the day, we just had some neighbors come over to check out the new car. It's always fun to share your new project with other people. And I've been looking it over, kind of playing around. I went and got the identification number off the carb so I can order a rebuild kit for that. You can see it needs a lot of work. I love these original steel wheels. I wanted to show you guys what the original owner sort of left for me. If I can get this off properly. Close the tailgate. Is this funny? 'Cause I think it's pretty funny. Alright, so that comes off. This opens up. High comedy. So there's nothing like getting to know a new truck, She's gonna humble me more often than that. And anyway, so what the previous owner left me was a roll bar, like not a structural one, but one of those show bars. It's okay if you want to look cool or whatever. It's got this funky metallic blue paint on it that's just awful. A rear seat adapter for a floor jack to hold the transmission up. He just gave that to me, and I'm hoping it's not a sign that the C6 is bad. A couple toys for the kids, a rear leaf spring. Who knows? But the point is, whatever they offer you, seatbelts, take it, because you never know what you're going to need. And that's it for my first episode. I really am looking forward to seeing how this Bronco turns out. I'm sure I'm going to be cursing at it, but I think it's going to bring me a lot of joy too, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Any comments, feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear from you, even if it's technical stuff about the video or whatever. I do want to hear from my fans and followers. So see you next time. We'll start digging into the engine.